What did you do to change your game this last iteration, maybe from 2010 on, before you had the binge and bust, Altucher lifestyle? But then you learned something.
Yeah. So I did, and it was something I had to figure out bit by bit. But I kept asking myself, okay, so I've succeeded and failed maybe like 4 or 5 times now. What was I doing on the way up, and what did I stop doing on the way down? And so there was a common theme on the way up, and it was almost like a discipline, loosely. But I would always try every day to 1% improve myself with physical health, emotional health, which means just not be around negative people. So some people will bring you down. Everybody has this in their life. Some people will bring you down and not be supportive of what you're doing. Other people are good, companions through life and who love and support you and who you love and support. So try to make the shift from there to there. That's every day a little bit. Mental health means not necessarily not going crazy, but means every day write down 10 ideas. Because I knew that we were moving into this idea economy, but if your idea muscle is left alone for too long, it atrophies. Just like your leg muscles. If you're in bed watching TV for 2 weeks, your leg muscles will atrophy so fast, you'll literally need physical therapy to walk again. And the same thing with the idea muscle. So I make sure I always write down 10 ideas every day.
Right,
I have...
You haven't. But the ideas aren't for...
I have a waiter's pad. I write down my ideas.
But they're not necessarily for commerce. They're just for even basic happiness, those 10
Yeah.
ideas.
So I'll write down, 10 ways I can surprise Claudia today. 10 ways, what are the 10 aspects of a good idea? It has nothing to do with making money. But I'll also write down 10 ways Amazon can improve their self-publishing business, 10 ways Facebook can improve their user experience. So let's say half of my ideas are more for me and just exercise. I'll tell you something I did the other day. I was sitting in a cafe, and I was going to write 10 ideas about something completely different. And then I saw like a couple tables down, 2 little kids were playing chess. And I could barely see their game, but I could see what they were doing wrong. And their father was just reading the newspaper next to them. And when he closed the newspaper and they finished their game, they were all getting up to go. So I wrote down 10 ideas how they can improve it. The 10 things they were doing wrong in their game, that if they just stopped doing those things, their game would be better. And so I totally must have been this weirdo. Like, I go up to the dad with this waiter's pad note, and I'm like, oh, I was watching your kids play. Here's 10 ideas for them. And he's like, okay, and he took the note. But, hopefully he looks at it. They were sincere ideas. They moved their rook pawns first thing. It's a bad idea.
Bad.
Then they move their rooks out. People do that when they're kids. Right. But it could be about anything. So about half usually are about, things that could help me or ideas for an article or whatever, or sometimes it might just be 10 random things, 10 things I want to see in the next Star Wars movie, or sometimes it'll be ideas to help somebody else. And then if it's to help somebody else, I might send it to the other person, or I might not.
Okay, so sometimes you share, sometimes you don't, but you get them down every day. In your TED Talk, you said everyone should do 10 ideas a day.
Yeah, like I did a few months ago, I did 10 ideas how Airbnb can be better. I love Airbnb. That's the place where you stay in different places all over the world. So I've used Airbnb nonstop for the past 6 months. And I haven't sent it to Airbnb. It's just, these were my ideas for the day.
Okay.
So.
All right, so the rest of those things, it's emotional, physical. I know you don't like the word spiritual.
I don't, it is spiritual, but I think people have everybody has their own meaning of that, and a lot of people are like, oh no, I'm a scientist, I'm not spiritual. But really all I mean is, this is what I was always doing wrong, was I was either filled with regret, like for instance, after my father had his stroke, if I still had that money, there was all these experimental treatments I could have tried that cost money that maybe I could have helped him. But instead I was broke. I was dead broke, so I couldn't help him at all. So I was filled with massive, massive regret. And just every day I couldn't get rid of the regret. Or anxiety. Like I would have so much anxiety about things that in the future that may not even come true. Like everybody's a horrible predictor of the future, but I was convinced I'm gonna go broke 3 years from now, or 3 days from now, or 3 months from now. And so I call that time traveling. And so I made it, so really what I mean by spiritual is don't time travel. So you can't have regret and anxiety and gratitude in your head at the same time. So whenever I feel like regret is coming on or anxiety is coming on, I'll say to myself, okay, well, what are 10 new things I can be grateful for? And so this is a challenge too. Like, I can always be grateful for my daughters, for my wife. I'm grateful I'm here sitting here with you and to have this opportunity. But then now I'll think of like 10 grateful things. So for instance, I was late getting here, as we know, and I was stuck in traffic. And so I can be anxious, oh my God, this is gonna throw everything off, everyone's gonna get upset at me. Or I can be grateful, like, I'm in this amazing, magnificent city, about to, go on London Reel with Brian, and it's such an amazing city that everyone else wants to be here, and everyone else happens to be going in the same direction as me. So I must be doing the right thing. So turning things from anxiety to gratitude, I call that a difficult gratitude problem. That's spiritual health. And so if you can keep doing that, and it's a practice because it's easy to slip back. I've always slipped back. But I try every day to do that.
And difficult gratitude problem.
Yes.
Okay. That's when you're having an anxiety moment, is a difficult gratitude problem, and you have to be creative to figure out how to be grateful.
Yeah, and every day is filled with regrets and anxieties. My daughter, I have two. My younger daughter, she's always anxious about lots of things. She's like a little me, and I love her to death. And I said, you know what you need to do? You need to keep a notebook with you, and every time you're predicting the future, just write down what you predict, and let's just see if it comes true. So now, I don't think she's done this, but I'll remind her later, I'll remember what she was anxious about. Did that come true? And she'll kind of sheepishly say, no, it didn't come true. And so, I don't know if that changes her or not, but almost everything we predict doesn't come true.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to LondonReelAcademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Reel, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at LondonReelAcademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there, and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.